So this is lesson 1.7, division of real numbers in elementary algebra. And what we're going to do first of all is when you have a number like 6 divided by 3, we're not going to use that sign very much anymore. We're going to make it into a division problem, 6 over 3. So this sign here is a division sign that says 6 divided by 3. You can call it a fraction sign, you can call it anything you want, but it does the same thing. So that would be equal to 2. Now if we had a division with a negative number down here, that would be negative 3, because division and multiplication are the same when it comes to negatives and positives. An even number of negatives gives you a positive answer. An odd number of negatives gives you an odd or a negative answer. So because we have one negative number there is odd, our answer is going to be negative. Or just look at it as there's two numbers there, one's positive, one's negative, your answer is going to be negative. Alright, so that brings us to division of fractions, and let's jump all the way up to example number 12, and it gives me 2/3, and it's dividing. Again, we're using that division sign. It'll slowly start going away. In order to divide fractions, you don't divide fractions. You change it into a multiplication. The second number you flip over, and then you multiply, and you're done. Okay? If I had 2/3 over 5/7, so instead of using a division sign, I used my fraction sign. You do the same thing. So here the second number, flip upside down and multiply. Here the bottom number, you flip upside down and multiply. And just make it go away. And you get the same answer. So just a different format for writing it. You will be using the fraction sign more and more and more. In fact, pretty soon it will go away and you will never see it again. Alright, so let's look at example number 15. We have a negative 4 times 5, and we're going to put that over 6. You do the multiplication first. You do things that are on the top, things that are on the bottom that you can before you use this division sign. The division sign should be after the top and the bottom have been simplified, and that's the case here. So we have negative 4 times 5 is negative 20 over 6, and then you reduce to negative 10 over 3. Remember, you find a number that goes into both 20 and 6 and divide it by that. So 20 divided by 2 is 10, 6 divided by 2 is 3. When I have something like 30 over negative 4 or minus 4 minus 5, we're going to get 30, and we're going to do this first. Negative 4 plus a negative 5. Okay, we change that to a plus minus. And then we take, the signs are the same, so we add those and put the sign on there. And we get 30 over 9. And is there a number that goes into both 30 and 9? Yes, 3 goes into 30 10 times, 3 goes into 9 3 times, and we carry the negative along with us. Alright, let's keep going on some of these examples here. And do negative 8 minus 8 over negative 5 minus 3. Negative 8 minus 8 is going to be the same as negative 8 plus a negative 8 over negative 5 plus a negative 3, just so we're adding. And two numbers with the same sign, you add and put the negative on. Two numbers with the same sign, you add and put the negative on. Two negatives give me a positive, 16 over 8, which in this case is going to be 2. Now if we have 2 times negative 3 plus 4 over 12, again we do what's on the numerator. We simplify that as much as we can first. And we just carry the 12 along. Signs are different, so we take the difference, put the sign of the largest one on there. And negative 2 over 12 reduces to 1 over 6, because 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 12 6 times. Number 19 is okay, so we're going to again simplify the top first. Okay, so 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. 2 times 3 is 6. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. But we'll change that to that. 2 numbers, signs are the same, we add. Signs are different, we take the difference, put the sign of the largest one on there. 26 over 2 is 13, and because we have one negative, our answer is going to be negative. Alright, brings us to one with a bunch of exponents in them. Now, as long as you do things in order, you're not going to have any problem with these. Okay, do what's on the top. 25, you're going to do PEMDAS, which means your exponents are first. Okay, remember, this is not negative 3 times negative 3. They're not in parentheses. That negative is not part of the squaring the 3. It's outside, so we drag it along. Negative 5 plus 3, signs are different. We take the difference, put the sign of the largest one on there, make that a negative, that a positive, so that we can add those. Signs are different, so we take the difference, put the sign of the largest number on there, and we're good to go. And a negative and a positive give me a negative, and I get an answer of negative 8. Now let's do 21. 3 plus 2 quantity squared over negative 3 squared minus 2 squared. Okay, PEMDAS says you do what's in the parentheses first. Okay, and we'll just leave this alone for right now. Alright, so the top is going to be 25. That's as simplified as possible. Now let's work at simplifying the bottom. 3 times 3 is 9. 2 times 2 is 4. And again, they're not in parentheses, so the negatives are not part of that. They just stay on there. So I make that a negative positive. And I combine 25 over negative 9 plus negative 4. Signs are the same, so I add them. Put the sign on there, negative 25 over 13. Alright, a couple more examples, and we'll be done with this lesson. So, we have 10 times x over 2. What that means is, make that 10 into a fraction if you'd like. Take the 10 times the x. Well, you can't have 10 times x and get anything other than just stick them together. 2 times 1 is 2. 10 over 2 is 5, and the x just drags along for the ride. There's nothing to if there's no other letter to multiply by that x, you don't do anything with it. 23 is a. 3 over a minus 4. Okay, we're going to distribute. So, a times 3 is 3a. 1 times a is a. A times, okay, make that a fraction. A times 4 is 4a. 1 times 1 is 1. Okay, we don't need this part, do we? And one of the things that's important is any number over itself, any letter over itself is 1. So we can make them go away if they're over themselves. If my a was over here, I could not cross out this with this. You can never go across a minus or a plus sign to solve your problem. Alright, so we have to make this go away here. That doesn't exist. So we can get rid of those a's here because they're on top of each other. So now we have 3 minus 4a is our answer. Alright, last thing I want to go over. If you have a 0 on top, that answer is 0. Anytime the numerator is 0, it doesn't matter what's on the bottom. It could be a long list of numbers and letters. As long as there's a 0 on the top, your answer is 0. If, for some reason, doesn't matter how long your list of numbers is on top, if 0 is on the bottom, that means that it's undefined. Or, another way of writing it is a circle with a line through it. 5 over 0 does not equal 0. It means there is no answer. 1 does not exist. Ain't happening. So do not put 0 for your answer. Write undefined or make this sign here. That sign there is a symbol for, that is an N, the null set. It means it doesn't exist. And again, do not write 0 for an answer because 0 is an answer. And the answer does not exist. Alright, so that's it for lesson 1.7.